Hi guys, and welcome back to another video Game with the Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you guys my top 10 list of board games that were released or fulfilled in 2023. Alright, I'm super excited to bring this list to you guys. I was sitting around thinking, what are some ways I can kind of spice up the channel, because it's been very monotonous lately with all just unboxings and Disney Lorcana content. I finally mixed it up and did something different on Wednesday, dropping a review. So we still got a lot of games we got to get to review as well, but just mixing up the content for you guys so it doesn't feel stale, or you know what's coming every week. But I'm super excited about this. I know a lot of other content creators do lists, but I just really think this will be a cool opportunity for you guys to get to know us a little bit better. And so, when Sierra is actually out of town right now, when she gets back, what we want to do is make a top 20 or maybe top 10 list of all-time games at the year, like a lot of other people do. I think that'd be pretty cool, just again, so you guys can get to know us a little better and we can kind of mix it up from the generic unboxing, playthrough Lorcana stuff. But today, again, I just want to put a little asterisk, I don't want to say asterisk, but just a clarification on the video today, guys, is any board game that was released in 2023 or fulfilled to me in 2023. Okay, so out of that total, there was about 48 games that I was ranking. Some of those games might actually have been fulfilled to some people in late 2022, but because they got delayed to the United States, they really did not get to me until early January or February. So I went ahead and included some of those games in there as well. So just so you know, in case you see one of those games where you're hey, I saw that game late, holiday 2022. Why is it on this list for 2023? That's because it did not get fulfilled to me until actually early 2023. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into the list, guys. Gonna try and make this short and sweet. Number 10, we have Trailblazers. All right, Trailblazers is a cool, puzzly, outdoorsy type game where essentially what you're trying to do is you have these different campsites. You have cards that are campsites, like a hiking, biking, and kayaking, and then you have these small little cards that you're using to try and create loops around these different campsites, connecting one side of the campsite to the other, or connecting one exit to another exit. And they have these little exits. I think there's 8 exits on each campsite, if I remember correctly. But you're trying to connect all these different trails and make different loops and score points and things like that. It's very Sushi Go-esque, where you start with 8 cards in your hand and you're choosing 2, and then you're passing your hand around. So you have to, hand management is very key in what you have to do, or card selection is very key. It's just really, really cool. Super simple, super easy. Once you guys get the hang of it, it goes by very quickly. It can play up to 8 players, so 1 to 8 players. It's got a lot of different modules in the game. It's got a solo mode, but then it has 6 or 7 different solo modules. It's got animal meeple modules where you throw in animals on the trail to score bonus points. It's got a person module. I don't really remember what they call it, but they have meeples of a kayaker, a biker, and a hiker, and you put them along the trail and move them around. And so they have that different modules. So there's a lot of content really packed in this game here. Now we do have the deluxe edition, so I do believe some of those modules might not come with the base game, but in that deluxe edition there's a lot of stuff, so it does pack quite a punch. And we also have in that deluxe edition was that small little carabiner where you could do the travel size of it. Take some of those cards, put them in there, and you can play Trailblazers on the go. But I do really enjoy this game. It's very board game friendly for people who are not really into board games or have never really played board games. I think they will definitely enjoy Trailblazers a lot. So that is my number 10, Trailblazers. All right, moving on to number 9. My number 9 game is going to be Earth, all right? So look, when Earth came out, it was on the BGG hotness number 1 for a long, long time, right? It was the flavor of the month, flavor of the months, a couple of months, right? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I first got it, I really wasn't that on it. I was like, this game is okay. But it's one of those games that grew on me over time where I slowly started to appreciate it the more times I got it to the table. And I remember the last time I got it to the table, I hadn't played it in a while, maybe a couple weeks, and I was like, man, like, I forgot how good this game really is. I actually appreciate it. What I love so much about Earth is that it's just, for a bigger game, there is really not a lot of downtime because of the simultaneous actions that are going on. So even though it's not your turn, when another player takes their action, you get to take an action as well. You got all these different sub-actions that you're going to get to take. So you're always getting to play every single turn and kind of mix and build things out. And I just love the different amount of cards you can build in there. The theme is super cool. You're like building your Earth. You know, you have all these different Earth concepts. Being able to, oh man, I forgot. I forgot what the term is. Discard your cards into like a pile. I can't remember it. But you have a stack of cards where you're going to be able to like not really discard cards, but put them down there and they're going to score you points at the end of the game. Why can I not think of that right now? But I think that's a pretty cool mechanic as well. There's just so many different ways to go about playing the game and strategy and things like that, and I think it works out really, really well for a bigger game like this. So that is my number 9, Earth. All right, moving on to number 8, we have Life of the Amazonia. So Life of the Amazonia is a bag builder game, but it's much more than a bag builder, right? I've never played Quacks before, so this was really my first experience with a bag building type game, and I really, really enjoyed Life of the Amazonia. Look, the production here of the game is phenomenal. Those screen printed meeples, the animal meeples are fantastic, very Aqua Garden-esque or like Zoo Tycoon-esque if you guys have ever played or seen the animal meeples, the screen printed animal meeples from Zoo Tycoon. So the production is gorgeous. They have this like cardboard waterfall of life that you get to set up, and like it's super, super fun. But essentially at the base of the game, what you're trying to do is use these chips that you have in your bag to buy either more higher value chips so you can buy bigger items, or not really buy bigger items, but use these higher value chips to recruit animals, recruit more forest tiles, put trees in your forest, all these different things that are going to allow you to score points. Buy cards. They have certain cards out there that give you like instantaneous effects or allow you to like drop more chips from your bags, different things like that. So I think it was a really cool experience for me. I love deck building games, and like I said, I've never played a bag builder before, so it really gave me that feel of a deck building game. I get to pick the chips, build my bag the way I want to with my strategy. Now, it can be kind of overwhelming at first with everything that's out on the table, but once you played it a couple times, you kind of realize that it's like, okay, I don't need to worry about any of this stuff in this area for a while, so let me just focus on trying to get some of these chips, or like trying to get maybe some of these cards and things like that. But overall, I really enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the production. They do have a solo mode of that, which I haven't tried it out. But what's cool also, they also have a shorter version of the game that you can play that really, really makes it easy to get to the table and allows you to do it a couple of times. So that is my number 8, Life of the Amazonia. All right, moving on to my number 7. We have Undici right behind us, okay? Undici was a game that was supposed to be fulfilled in late 2022. I know some people actually did get the game in 2022, but then there was a mishap where I think it was only like the first 200 backers or something got it, and then the rest of the world was going to get it, and everybody else was going to get it in February. I think that's when it came. But my number 7, Undici, I just did the review on that. You guys, if you want to take a look at that, I'll go ahead and link that right there for Undici. But look, it's essentially FIFA, the board game. If you're a big fan of FIFA, the video game franchise, and you love board games, you're gonna love Undici. It is a very niche game, again, but I just think it's so phenomenal, that ability to, you got these player chips, and there's 18 players on your team. You get to choose your starting 11. You get to choose the formation. You get to choose, you know, it's very strategic, very chess-like. You got these deck of cards that can alter and affect the game. And so, like, you might be making a run and you think you're going to score, and your opponent throws out a card on you that's like, bam, I'm stealing that ball, or like, I deflected your pass or whatever, or you can really stack up and ensure that you get a goal, things like that. I mean, it's just beautifully done. My only issue with the game is the length sometimes, so got to find a way to shorten the length of the game, which some of you guys have already put in the comments on that review. I appreciate you guys. But all in all, the production is phenomenal. The clay chips, the playmat, excellent game. My number 7, Undici. Moving on to my number 6. All right, this one, number 6, is going to be Shake That City, okay? Shake That City is a, man, I don't know, which is like a tile placement type game. So you have your little board, right? And what you're going to do is you have this little cube shaker, and I love the mechanic of that cube shaker. And then you like squeeze it, and out pops this even row of 3x3 cubes, and you're basically going to choose a color of that cube, and you have to take these corresponding tiles of that color, and each of these tiles represent something. So you have like housing, you have factories, you have a park, and the way you orient them in your board, you score points. So like one next to the other might score double points, but if like, you know, your factories next to housing, you actually score 0 points for both of those things. So it's really, really cool. And like, if whoever is the leader or the player of that round, first player, I don't want to say first player because it's not really the first player, but whoever is the person that basically did the cube and it's their turn to pick first, the other players have to pick a different color cube from them. But again, you have to do it in that exact orientation that it's on the cube thing on your board. So it's really, really cool. I mean, it plays super quick. It's super simple to grasp. I mean, it's easy to get to the table. It's just an overall unique, enjoyable experience that you really have never seen before in a board game. All right, moving on to my number 5, we have Horrified Greek Monsters. All right, look, I'm a huge fan of the Horrified series. I love, you know, all those type of monsters, like the Universal monsters. We have American monsters as well. You know, me and my dad are big conspiracy theorists about Bigfoot, UFOs, all that stuff. So that's super cool as well. And then now they came with the Greek monsters. And if you know me, you know, one of my biggest themes is mythology. I love Greek mythology, love Norse mythology, all that stuff. I played Smite, you know, was probably my most favorite video game. I played that for like 8-9 years straight. Just different pantheons and stuff. I'm a huge fan of all of those different things. So now you give me the Greek pantheon on a cooperative game that I already love. You know, it is a match made in heaven. So if you guys are not too familiar with Horrified, essentially it's a cooperative game where you are going to be selecting different monsters to fight against. So in the Greek version, you know, you have like the Gorgon, you have the, let me actually get it out for you so I can actually make sure I'm saying the right things for you. So we have we got the Gorgon here, we got the Harpy, we got the Chimera, you got Cerberus, the Minotaur. So those are in the Horrified Greek Monsters game right there. You guys are working cooperatively to complete the different objective of how you defeat that monster. So each different monster has a different objective of how you have to beat it. So really cool. Moving on to my number 4, sticking to the theme of mythology, we have Lords of Ragnarok, okay? Lords of Ragnarok is all about the Norse mythology, and it is the sequel or successor to Lords of Hellas, okay? Now, I have never played Lords of Hellas before. What's actually funny is I was getting ready to buy like an all-in version of Lords of Hellas on eBay when they actually dropped Lords of Ragnarok, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna hold off on that. They probably did a lot of updates to the game in this Lords of Ragnarok. I'm gonna rock with Lords of Ragnarok. Now, my favorite type of mythology is Greek mythology, so I would have preferred Lords of Hellas over Lords of Ragnarok. But also, my second favorite is also Norse mythology. So I was like, look, it works out as well. But Lords of Ragnarok is an area control type game, but what I love about it is there's multiple other paths to victory besides just an area control, right? There's ways where you can hunt monsters, you can build temples and control lands with temples. There is Ragnarok being signaled by players completing different objectives. So there's multiple pathways than it just being a straight up area control. I'm gonna fight you over this area. And so, you know, sometimes me and the wife are not really in that mood where we want to constantly battle each other. So we can bust this out and I can get my fix and she doesn't get aggravated because we're fighting the whole time. And what's funny is she actually beat me one time, didn't attack me once. She just hunted monsters the whole time and killed Loki at the end and was victorious. And so I was like, man, I was so confident too. I was like, oh, she's not going for areas. Like I'm about to steal all these areas from her, and then I'm gonna be victorious. And like she beat me before I could even do all that. But I mean, look, the production here, it's coming to you from Awakened Realms. The production here is phenomenal. It's the miniatures I got are the Sundrop version. It's just a beautiful, gorgeous game. I don't get it to the table a whole lot because it is a big production. But look, I love the theme, I love the miniatures, and I think the gameplay, once you get the hang of it, is pretty smooth. And I think I enjoy it and I have a good time with it every time I play it. Moving on to my number 3 here. All right, look, the top 3. We are in the top 3, and I think this is gonna shock a lot of people. But I was actually surprised with my top 3 here. Number 3, we have Lobster Pot, okay? Lobster Pot is a brand new game. I think it just fulfilled here in August, but look, this is a party game, and oh man, is this fun, okay? I believe it plays up to 6, either 6 or 7, I believe is what it plays up to, but it's essentially the premise is like you guys are all lobsters, you're trying to escape this boiling pot, and so what you're doing is you're rolling a dice, and you get to choose whether you want to drag somebody down or like try and escape the pot yourself. And so like the pot is divided up into like 10 different levels, like level 1, 10. And so like I said, you roll the dice. If you roll a 4, well, you have to choose first before you roll the dice. Like if I roll a dice, say I'll move myself up, I roll a 4, I move up 4 spaces, right? Or if you want to drag somebody down, you can only drag them down 1 or 2 spaces. So you roll that die and then you drag them down. But what's really makes the game is you got cards in your hand that you can play to, you know, affect different people and what they do, protect yourself. And then they have conflict cards because lobsters are very territorial and they don't like being in the same spot. So if you end the round or end the turn with you on the same level as somebody else, you guys got to draw a conflict card. And all these different conflict cards are so fun. I mean, some of them have to do with drawing. Some of them are like tic-tac-toe. Some of them are, rock, paper, scissors. All of these different unique and fun battles, and sometimes they get the group involved and there's got to be a judge and things like that. Overall, look, like if you are in the search for a party game, Lobster Pot is going to be one for you. I really, really enjoy this game a whole lot in a group setting. Everybody's going to have fun playing Lobster Pot. But that is my number 3 game released in 2023 or fulfilled in 2023. All right, moving on to number 2, okay? Number 2, I could not get this game out of my mouth and I annoyed the crap out of my wife with it. This is Sanssouci, okay? Making sure I'm saying that right. This is the 2nd edition of Sanssouci. First of all, I'm impressed with how quickly they got this game to me. Like, I believe it was, the Kickstarter came in either May or June, and it was fulfilled in August. I mean, boom, they already had it made. They were ready to go, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. They said, this designer is Michael Kiesling, the same guy that did Azul. They have said this is the Carcassonne killer, right? Essentially, what you're doing, you got a board, you got these little meeples, a very Euro-style game where you have small little cards in your hand. You're playing a card with a color or an icon. You're taking these small little tiles, putting them in their little board, and then you're moving these meeples down the rows to try and score points. And so you're trying to connect all these tiles or rows of tiles to score points, and then you have secret objectives that you're trying to get your meeple guy down to score extra points. But I mean, look, it's super simple. It plays very quickly. And it's just a overall, you know, combines two of my favorite wife's games, Carcassonne and Azul, with drafting tiles and putting them out in your board and things like that. So it's a very, very enjoyable experience. You know, anytime I'm going somewhere, and you know, Sanssouci is always in my bag because it's just so friendly, so easy, so simple to get to the table. But that is my number 2, Sanssouci. All right, guys, look, we have made it. We have made it to my number 1. Let's go ahead and get straight to the point. We don't mess around with our food here. My number 1 game that was released in 2023 or fulfilled in 2023 here in the States is Terrorscape, all right? Look, Terrorscape was easily one of my most anticipated games for me in the fall. I could not wait. I was itching at my computer every single day waiting on this tracking information. But what's actually funny is I was very hesitant when I first saw it because of the short turnaround time. Like I said, I think it was done either in April or May, and they were expected to deliver in November. Well, look, kudos to you guys. Ice Makes Games, you delivered on it. I've said that multiple times. But Terrorscape, let's get right to the game. Terrorscape at its core is a hidden movement game. It is essentially, for me, it is Dead by Daylight, the board game. This is what I wish the Dead by Daylight, the board game was. But it wasn't when I saw that one, and that's what refrained me from backing that one. What I did not like about the actual Dead by Daylight board game was all the information was out in the open. While it was deemed hidden movement, it really wasn't hidden movement. In Terrorscape, this is actually hidden movement. I mean, you have a screen in the middle separating one side from the other, just like Battleship. Your killer has to announce all of their moves to the survivor. The survivors only announce the noise that they make when they do certain actions or find a key or find an item that makes noise. Other than that, all the information is completely secret, and you guys have to deduce what's going on. And so it's so cool. You know, I think it works really, really well as a 2-player game, but it's really, really fun as a 3 to 4 player game, because if you're a survivor in that 3 to 4 player game, you and your team have to find a way to communicate while giving all this information to the killer. And so it's so cool because when you guys are talking, it's like, maybe, yeah, that might work, I don't know. Because, you know, sometimes, knowing me, I'm always the idiot in the group that's like, well, she's not gonna go anywhere, and we're only playing one girl. And then the killer's like, oh, well, I know who you guys are talking about, you know. But I think it just works, okay? There's multiple killers in the game. If you got all the expansions, they add in new maps that you get to play on. I think there's enough content in the base game to just keep you satisfied for a while, but eventually you're going to yearn for more of those. You're eventually going to yearn for more of those expansions. Turns are super simple and easy. As a survivor, you get one action to do. You have 6 possible things that you can do, like move, search something, repair a radio, use an action, and some other, and then you can like remove all of your fear if you're feared. As the killer, you have a deck of cards. You're playing cards from your hand. You want to kind of cycle through your deck as quickly as possible because that helps you level up to unlock more powers and more abilities. I think it's just a phenomenal production all around, and it just really works as that hidden movement game. The biggest thing for me as to why this game is such a success is the time that it takes to play. 30 to 45 minutes max, right? Once you get the game down, I mean, you can run through this super, super quick. Obviously, our first couple times we played it, it took us a while to get the ins and outs, but I actually taught this game to a group of friends about 2 weeks ago, or last week, actually. And look, it took us about 35, 40 minutes to play, and they had never played it before at all. So it moved very quickly, went very well, and like they were actually surprised, like, man, this game is really, really good. But all around, I think the game is awesome. This should be a staple in your collection. This game has easily moved into my top 5 games of all time. My number 1 game that was released in 2023 or fulfilled here in the United States in 2023 is Terrorscape, guys. All right, well, look, I hope you guys got to enjoy this top 10 list, got to get some insight and see what I like to play, what I have been playing here in 2023. Please comment down below, guys. Have you played any of these games? What are some of your top favorite games of 2023? Drop that down in the comments below. If you have not already, guys, hit that notification bell, drop a like for us, help us out. And as always, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more awesome content. All right, guys, we look forward to giving you more top 10 lists or maybe higher lists. Y'all have a good one. Bye.